Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of First Person here on PressProsMagazine.com, sponsored by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua and the Coverman-Dickerson Agency representing the products of Buckeye Insurance in Troy, Piqua, Covington, and St. Paris.
That's
not bad. Our guest this week is the sports anchor for ABC 22 and Fox 45 here in Dayton, Nathan Baker, familiar face on Dayton sports coverage, Dayton television. Thanks for being with us. Fun to talk to you.
No problem. My pleasure. I'm excited to work with you.
Ironically or coincidentally, Nathan Baker will join Press Pros this fall as part of our Friday night coverage of area high school football. He'll do the predictions page with me on Fridays. That's a lot of fun. I know you're going to enjoy that.
I'm a little nervous. I mean, you're an expert. You've done such a great job covering football and local sports in this area for so long. I'm kind of new. You know, I got all these the Buckeyes and Bengals and things. I'm going to have to really dig in to even give you a run for your money.
We are going to get to that in a minute, because I'm going to tell you, over the last 3 years that I've done this, I am batting north of 80%.
Yeah, I've never batted north of 80% in anything in my life. So,
if you're not familiar with the predictions page, we debuted it on Press Pros last year. We averaged about 25,000 hits per Friday. Principally because we tell the truth about the games that we're going to cover. And this year you'll pick 5 games from the Dayton area. I'll pick 5 games north in Miami, Shelby, Mercer, Dark County, and those areas. We'll go a little point counterpoint on it, and we'll see who shows. We will have fun. We will tell the truth. We will have fun with it.
It's going to be great. I mean, there's a lot of local teams from where you're from and down here in Dayton as well. A lot of teams that some people think have high hopes and high expectations, and hopefully we can predict them all the way to some state championships.
You've grown up around Ohio high school football. I never cease to be amazed, even on the lean years, the young years, the years when people say, we're not very good this year. We're a month out from opening night, and already the enthusiasm, the anticipation, I've never seen it higher than what it is for this year.
I went to Northmont, first of all, 99 graduate. We were 0-10 that year. And then Ed Domsteins with the Alter and suddenly won some state titles. I don't know how that worked out.
The guy they have now is pretty good. He's pretty good.
He's very good. He took over the year after I left, actually. And it's seriously, I worked in Lima for 2 to 3 years, and then I've been here now for almost 5 years. And high school football in this part of Ohio is unbelievable. I don't think it's comparable to anywhere. You get up in those MAC schools, and then down here in Dayton with the Division I schools, where for years they would make it so far and get beat on, and now our teams are really starting to pull through. You saw Wayne last year take care of some of those Cincinnati schools. Every week it's really exciting. It's unbelievable to go to some of these stadiums and just to meet the people, not even just the games, but just to see all the, everyone in Coldwater, the whole town is there. And you can say that for so many communities here. And I think a lot of people look at the football landscape this year and think, it might be a little down. Braxton Miller's gone and some big names are gone, but I'm really excited for this year. I've been kind of going through all the stats and the returning players, and I think there's going to be some really good talent and a lot of good competition.
I think you'll agree with me. One of the exciting things to me about high school football in this area is seeing the improvement from week 1 through week 4 and 5, which speaks volumes about the quality of coaching.
Oh, the coaches around here are unbelievable, and it is amazing to see the teams that kind of maybe don't do so well week 1, and then they're the ones you're talking about, week 8, week 9, week 10, fighting for playoff spots.
Yep. Nathan Baker, our guest from Channel 22 and Fox 45. Take a moment and tell us a little bit about what new features you'll debut in your coverage of high school football this year.
Very exciting. Coming up this week, actually Thursday, the 28th, we're going to do our top 22. We've done this now this will be our 4th year.
Funny you picked that figure.
Exactly. Well, 45 is too many, but in honor of ABC 22, we're starting with our top 22, and I pick the 22 best seniors in the area, one from each team.
If you pick 45, it'd be like the Bachelorette.
Exactly.
Never end.
It would be that Ocho Cinco show. It would take forever to get to the end of it. But I've picked 22 kids in the area. Some always get left off, and there's other ones, like you said, that kind of come out of nowhere. But I think I might have the strongest top 22 yet. We're going to film that on July 28th, and then starting 22 days out of the first Friday, we're going to run a different kid each day. And then don't forget, we do more high school football coverage on TV than anybody in the Miami Valley. We do a half hour on Fox 45 at 10, 20 minutes on ABC 22 at 11. We do it all online. We send text for every single conference. So we have we have the most comprehensive sports coverage on a football Friday than anybody else in the Miami Valley.
Look at this, no notes and no prompter anywhere. Nathan Baker back in a moment, right after this message from the Coverman-Dickerson Agency in Troy, Piqua, and Covington to talk about some teams and players of intrigue for high school football coming up in the 2011 debut, here just 4 weeks away. Right back after this.
The Coverman-Dickerson Agency, with offices in Troy, Piqua, and Covington, is pleased to be the sponsoring Buckeye Insurance Group agent for this first-person interview. For farm, auto, and homeowner insurance, Coverman-Dickerson is one of the area's fastest-growing Buckeye providers, with a history of service and competitive rates. And we're also an outstanding source of coverage for families with young drivers. For farm, auto, and home policies, call the Coverman-Dickerson Agency, proud to represent Buckeye Insurance Group.
Welcome back, everybody. Nathan Baker, our guest from Fox 45 and Channel 22. We're talking about teams and players of intrigue to start off the 2011 season. First of all, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about either 3 teams or 3 players here in Montgomery County.
Well, I think when you talk about here in Montgomery County, you got to kind of start with the big boys, and it's no offense to some of the others, but when it's come the last few years, I mean, you got to talk about the Waynes, the Centervilles, the Northmonts, and Troutwoods. Wayne, you know, Braxton's gone. I think it's a big question mark, but when it comes to Centerville, I think they're going to be very good. They got 3 already Division I recruits. My favorite guy going into this year has to be Afadi Odenibo. I can say it. Ron Ellery made fun of me as the only guy who said it right.
How long have you been working on that?
No, I haven't. Not at all. I got it. You just have to phonetically spell it out. But kid's got over 30 scholarship offers. I called him this week to try to get him in the top 22, and Ullery said, I don't know, he could be going to Oklahoma or somewhere else this year, this week. I mean, he is a smart kid, family's from Congo, and he, last year as a defensive end, he just burst on the scene. He is a top 5 defensive end in the nation. When you put him with Ben McGowan, who's going to Michigan State, they got a safety going to Miami, and then Ron Ullery, 35 years of coaching, 12 at Centerville. You got to think they're going to be able to contend.
And the triple option.
And the triple option, exactly. And then the other team in their conference that is definitely going to be good is, and I have to go there, not because I'm a T-Bowl, but Northmont is very good. I mean, they made the playoffs, 7 of the last 10 years, but the last 2 years they've missed out. Every year Lance Schneider was saying, we're young, give me a chance. And now that talent's there. Caleb Ringer going to Michigan. And Lance says the best kid on the team is Jamal Trammell, a wide receiver. He says he might be an all-Ohio wide receiver. And then they got another kid named Belton. I think they've had 3 of those.
Beltons.
They're pretty good. And Lance said years ago that this one, Cameron, might be the best one of the whole lot. So it'll be exciting to see. He's a junior, led the G-Walk in passing last year. It'll be exciting to see how he does. And then you got to talk about Troutwood. I mean, they lost in the state finals last year. It was an unbelievable game and an unbelievable run by them. First ever time to the state finals. And a lot of people think this time they're going to go and actually bring home the trophy. They lost Antoine Gilbert, maybe the best running back in Troutwood's long history, and but they've got some good ones. Bam Bradley, the brother of one Chris Wright, the UD Flyer, he's got a lot of offers from D1 schools. They got another kid who is a junior defensive back, I think Cameron Burrows. They say he's going to be maybe the best recruit in all of Ohio next year in the 2013 class. And then they got this kid from CJ who was a 3-year starter, quarterback, Michael Simpson, transferred to Troutwood. He was a stud at CJ and they weren't very good. So you put him in the Troutwood scheme and you got to think big things are on the horizon for the Rams.
So you can see why the anticipation, enthusiasm for opening night. People that read Press Pros over the last year know my enthusiasm for Division 4, 5, and 6 schools, because that's where we live and that's what we feature in Miami and Shelby County. I'm going to give you some names starting at Covington in Division 5 this year. They step up, I think, by 3 boys. They cross the line into Division 5. A young man named A.J. Ouellette, built like a cemetery monument, gets a step on you and he is gone. He will be the next in the great tradition of Covington running backs. A lot of fun to watch. You go 5 miles west. You ever heard of Bradford?
A few times. Yeah, they're pretty good with that Enos guy, right?
Yeah, Curtis has got him. He's got it going on, and they're very excited there. I think they were 6-4 last year. Barely missed their playoff appearance there, but they got a youngster named Johnny Barbee.
Top 22 player.
Top 22 player. You know about him. 2,700 all-purpose yards last year. And the great thing about it was he had 250, 300-yard games against teams that knew he was going to get the ball, and they still could not stop him. And then for those Division I people, I'll go to Troy and talk about Marcus Foster. Is he one of your top 22?
He's good.
Already going to Cincinnati. He'll get you 1,000 yards on offense from the tailback position. He'll save you 1,000 yards in run support as a defensive back, for Steve Nolan and the Trojans this year. And if you'll allow me one more,
sure,
I'll give you one more, because there's nothing more fun than watching kickoff and punt returns. There's a kid right up the road here at West Milton named Jake Finfrock. So good. At 148 pound and 5'6", they didn't even kick him the ball last year. That's how big a threat he is. So you put these kids together along with the teams that you talked about, it portends to a great season.
I think you mentioned Troy, and just looking through what some of these teams are going to be, like I said, Trotwood, but Pickwood's going to be really good too. There's going to be some real dogfights.
30 seniors back, yeah.
Very good. And then one other kid that I fell in love with last year as a player was Cole French out of Eaton. Led them to the regional finals. First time they'd ever been that far. He had 2,700 yards passing, 33 touchdowns, 6 rushing. Also the defensive back, kicked all the extra points, and he has an offer from Toledo, but I think after this year, if he leads them far, he might be the best quarterback in the area when all's said and done this season, and might get some better offers.
Now, can you see why we're excited for the Friday Night's Picks page with Nathan Baker on Press Pros Magazine? Thanks a lot.
Hey,
great to have you.
No problem. I look forward to it.
Looking forward to having a lot of fun. You'll look forward to reading it every Friday on PressPros.com. That wraps up this edition of First Person. Again, a production of PressProsMagazine.com and sponsored by the Buckeye Insurance Group in Piqua, as well as the Coverman Dickerson Agency in Troy, Piqua, Covington, and now St. Paris. Join us again next time for another edition of First Person. Until then, for Nathan Baker and the sponsors, thanks for joining us this week. See you again next week on PressProsMagazine.com.
If you are looking for quality insurance protection from a reliable company, sold by professionals in communities like yours, that's what you'll get from Buckeye Insurance Group.
Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
To find your local Buckeye agent, visit buckeye-ins.com. Buckeye Insurance Group, insuring the heartland.
Insuring the heartland.